Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is solution to simplify of 3 root 5 times 4 root 6 over 2 root 2 times 3 root 3. Okay, if you look at the question very well, you will see that I intentionally put this question here. Okay, you see that this is multiplication, okay. This is not, you don't have any addition or subtraction sign here. So it means that you don't just jump straight to rationalization. On the question, I intentionally wrote rationalize. Okay, so what do you do first? What do you do first? You ensure that you simplify first before you rationalize. That is the meaning. So 3 root 5 times 4 root what? 6 over 2 root 2 times what? 3 root 3. Okay, 2 year 1, 2 year what? 2. 3 year 1, 3 year 1. Okay, that is because it's multiplication that is there at the numerator that is connecting this one and this one. Multiplication is connecting this one and this one, then I can cancel out. Had it been used is addition or subtraction, you cannot do that. You just need to rationalize straight. Okay, so now at the end of the day, this implies that I will have root 5 times what? 2 root 6 over root 2 times what? Root 3. So it's as simple as that. Okay, it means that I will have root 5 times 2 root 6 over root 2 times what? Root 3. So what did I do here? 3 can go here, I cancel it out. 2 can go in 4, then you have your 2 remaining. So, and don't forget the condition under multiplication. I told you, multiply outside with outside, you multiply inside with what? With inside. Okay, under SURD form. Okay, you multiply outside with outside, and you also multiply inside with what? Inside. What is outside here? 2. 1 is outside here, but we don't usually write it because 1 times anything is that thing. Okay, so what is inside here? 6. Inside is square root. What is inside here? 5. You multiply them together. Here, outside here is 1, 1. Okay, but inside square root we have 3. Inside the square root we have 2. So it means that at the end of the day, we have what? That implies we have 2 root 6 times 5 is what? 30 over 3 times 2 is what? 6. Now, since we have SURD at the denominator, so what do we do? What do we do is that we rationalize. Okay, multiply the numerator and the denominator with the SURD that is at the denominator. Okay, multiply the numerator and the denominator with the SURD that is at the denominator. So that is very simple. So I can just say on rationalizing, I will have, that implies I will have 2 root 30 over root 6 times what? Root 6 over what? Root 6. It's as simple as that. When you're trying to rationalize, that is the way we rationalize. Okay, so I'm multiplying the numerator and the denominator, okay, with the SURD form at the denominator. So that is it. And the SURD form at the denominator is root 6. It's very simple. You don't need to shake at all. Because it's very simple and straightforward. So what do you do here? So the same thing applies. Multiply inside with inside, multiply outside with what? With outside. It's as simple as that. So it means that at the end of the day, I will have this. That's 2. Okay. Then inside, what do I have? I will still have 6 times 3. That's 180. That's 180. Okay. 180. So this one will be 6 times 6, 36. Square root of 36 is still what? Is still what? 6. You can see it now. Very simple. So 2 here can go here 1. 2 here can go here 3. So that implies you have root 180 over what? 3. You have root 180 over 3. So it means there's no SURD form at the denominator again. So you've been able to justify rationalization, okay? Because under SURD form, is not encouraging when you have SURD at the denominator. Meaning of SURD is that when you have square root sign at the denominator. So, but in this case now, there's no square root sign at the denominator. So the question we need to ask ourselves is that, can I still do something here? Can I still simplify further? So if I'm having 9 times 2 is what? Is 18. So it means that I can still simplify this. Let me see if I can get the square root out. Okay. If I divide this one by 2, I will have root 90. So 9 times 10 is what? Is 90. So that is, I can still simplify further. This is the same thing as what? Let's say 2. That's 90 times 2 over 3. Okay, 9 times 2, 18. It's still 180. Okay, then I can still go ahead and say I want to simplify it further. I want to say that's 9 times 10 times what? 2 all over 3 is still the same thing. Okay, 9 times 10 is still what? 90. So that's the meaning of simplification. Break it down to the lowest. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I could see that I can find a perfect square for 9. Okay, I can find a perfect square for what? For 9. And at the same time, if you look at this very well, 10 times 2, 20. Okay, I can say 5 times 4 is still the same thing as 20. I'm just looking for perfect square so that I can simplify it to the lowest. So it's as simple as that. That is what we do under simplification. Okay, under simplification, that is what we do. We look for the lowest, okay, that we cannot move further again or simplify further again. So if you look at this now, that implies you can now have root 9, okay, times 10 times 2 is what? Root 20, okay, all over 3. I can still go ahead and say I have my what? Root 9 times, that's 5 times 4. 5 times 4, 20. Why am I doing that? Because I know I have a perfect square for root 4, but I don't have a perfect square for root 5. So that implies I can now write root 9 times what? Root 4 times what? Root 5, okay, all over what? 3. You see now? So it's very simple. If you multiply all these things together, 9 times 4, 20. Okay? If you multiply all these things together, you will still get the value of your 180 back. Okay? 9 times 2 is 18, 180. Okay? Okay? 9 times 2 is what? 180. Okay? And I have 20, I have 20, I have 9 here. 9 times 2 is still the same thing as what? 180. So, but here I can split it to 5 times 4, 20. So from there, I can get my value out. So it means that at the end of the day, I can now say, yeah, what is the square root of what? 9. Square root of 9. So I can find the square root of 4. And I cannot find the square root of 5. I will leave it as that. So it's as simple as that. So I've been able to break it down. So square root of 9 is what? Is 3. 3 times 3 is what? 9. Square root of 4 is what? 2. That's times 2. Then you have your root 5 divided by what? 3. You see now, it's as simple as that. So 3 here, 3 here, 3 will cancel 3 here. So it means that at the end of the day, the value is what? 2 root what? 5. Okay. After simplifying, 3 root 5 times 4 root 6 over 2 root 2 times 3 root 3, the value is what? 2 root what? 5. It's as simple as that. So just look for the lowest value that you know that has a perfect square. Root 9 has a perfect square. Root 36 has a perfect square. Root 4 has a perfect square. Okay. So, and there are root 100 has a perfect square. Okay, which is 10 times 10, 100. 36 is 6 times 6. 9 is what? 3 times 3. 4 is what? 2 times 2. Okay, those are perfect square that you can see. And if the value is 27, 9 times 3, 27, for 9 is a perfect square. Okay, so that is how you resolve, you simplify, solve. So it's good that we solve all these things so that at the end of the day, you can understand exactly what we're talking about on the sword. Please, if you've not gone through it, go through them. Okay, continue to like, continue to comment, continue to share. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay, so that at the end of the day, we can reach a lot of young minds. Thank you.